Live from the KWQC studio. This is TV6 News at 5.
Years of progress in preventing teen tobacco use undone. Why researchers say e-cigarettes are to blame.
There's no perfect solution.
And school districts are racking up a lot of snow days. District officials explain their plans to make them up. But at First Alert Day tops your news tonight at 5. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sharon DeReek. The First Alert Day has been declared tonight through tomorrow due to incoming snow and then wind. Let's take a look outside now at our live sky cam where you can see we are getting blanketed with some more snow in the Quad Cities. There's Cedric Haynes joining us now with a look at our First Alert forecast and just how much of this can pile up, Cedric.
Well, Sharon, we're looking.
All right, thank you, Cedric. Let's take a look now at road conditions around Iowa. KWQC's Chris Carter joins us now live for a look at conditions. He's on Highway 61 in the DeWitt area.
Yeah, Sharon, we just got onto Highway 61 from Highway 30 on our way back to the Quad Cities from the Clinton area. And what I can tell you as I turn the camera around and show you what's in front of us is Highway 61 actually is pretty snow covered.
All right, thank you, Chris. Now let's take a look at road conditions around the QCA. This is a road conditions map in Iowa. Roadways in northern Iowa appear to be clear, but there's still a lot of roads around the state that appear to be covered in snow or ice. The QC Metro also appears to have a lot of roadways that are covered. It includes roadways such as I-74, Highway 61, and I-80. And now let's look at the conditions in Illinois. And so far, only the northeast corner of Illinois, as well as parts of the northern QCA, appear to be affected on the Illinois side, including Rock Island, Henry, and Whiteside. And major roadways covered in snow in Illinois include I-280, I-74, and I-80. So certainly be careful if you're traveling around the area this evening. Well, the weather has caused numerous school cancellations and early outs this year, and it looks like there could be more to come. That leaves schools trying to figure out how to make up the hours they're losing so the school year won't go till mid-June. KWQC's Austin Hansen joins us now with how some schools are trying to play catch-up.
That's right, Sharon. Schools like Bettendorf, Pleasant Valley, and Central DeWitt.
Right, thank you, Austin. In Illinois, makeup days differ from Iowa. Once an Illinois school makes up 5 school cancellations, they aren't required to make up any more. Well, several cities have declared snow emergencies for later today. You can head to our news app where you'll find information on snow routes where parking will not be allowed until the plows can get through. Well, no one was injured in a structure fire in Muscatine, according to fire officials. The call came in just before noon, and crews responded to the house fire on DeMorest Avenue. Flames could be seen in the second story of the home. Crews knocked down the fire within minutes. No one was injured, and no word on the cause of that fire just yet.
Dozens packed the park across from Central Fire Station to honor a hero gone too soon. Lieutenant Josette died Saturday morning while fighting a fire at the ADM facility. The 33-year-old leaves behind a wife and a daughter and a community full of support. TV6 has team coverage of the loss of a hero. We begin with KWQC's Ryan Scott, who was in Clinton today as Lieutenant Josette returned home. Ryan, a very somber day today.
That's right, Chris. A very tragic day for not just the Clinton community, but for the firefighters, first responders, servicemen, and women across eastern Iowa who risked their lives to keep others safe. At today's procession, those brave men and women shared what Lieutenant Josette's sacrifice means to them.
A solemn sight in Clinton as a community gathers to watch Lieutenant Eric Josette make his final ride back to the station.
It's hard because we're all family, and you get to know each other, you get to be friends with them.
Connie Bowles is a retired medic who grew up sharing a bond with Clinton first responders, growing up and still living near one of Clinton's fire stations.
They were always there for my dad when he was alive. They were there for my mom. They were there especially for me when my grandson died of SIDS. And so I'm going to be there to help him.
After Josette's tragic sacrifice, she's done her part to help first responders heal, offering kindness and cooked meals.
I knew that they were hurting, and I knew that they weren't going to feel like cooking, so I did it for them.
As a medic, she knows the risk Josette and first responders just like him face when they answer the call.
It's something that he chose to do, and he knew the risk. We all do.
She says it comes from a selfless need to help others.
If I can do anything to save a life, I'm gonna. Every one of these guys would.
A call to serve shared by veterans who attended today's procession to pay their respects.
I'm down to say goodbye to my brothers.
Vietnam War veteran Frank Piatz brought his own flag to wave as a procession drove by.
I think that's what the firefighters are doing. They're proud.
A strong showing by the community for a man who used his last strength to protect others.
Both Bulls and Piats offer their condolences to the Hosette family. Jenna.
Last week's extreme cold and a mild weekend and Monday, now cold again tonight.
Yeah, the drastic transition is wreaking havoc on homes throughout the QCA, and home repair companies have their hands full. KWQC's Ryan Scott explains the many problems they're facing right now.
That's right, Sharon. Home repair companies I've spoken to say many problems were created by last week's extremely cold weather that are just now presenting themselves to homeowners during this week's spring-like weather. Those include bursting water lines, leaking roofs, and overworked sump pumps. Local plumbing companies say they've taken hundreds of calls dealing with bursting water lines that were caused by last week's extreme cold. Plumbing experts say when pipes freeze, warm temperatures can either melt the frozen pipes or cause those pipes to burst. Either way, experts say it's important to get them checked out.
So when the temperature dropped that hard and that fast, the piping froze. It's kind of a 50-50 whether when it froze that pipe broke or not. And then it's kind of a 50-50 whether it started spraying water at that time. So if it did, you knew it real quick, and then we were able to get out there and fix that pipe. If it didn't, a lot of people thought, okay, well, it'll unthaw and start running water when the temperature warms up.
And here's a look at the amount of calls plumbing companies have taken since last week. You can see it was anywhere from 20 to 75 calls for frozen pipes that may need to be rethought out. Even more calls came in dealing with bursting pipes. Now, another big problem some homeowners are facing right now is a leaking roof. Roofing experts say ice dams are a common cause. Now, ice dams occur when heat rises and escapes through poor insulation and heats up snow, melting it and causing it to flow down the roof where it can refreeze here at the edge of the roof. It then builds up and the water can leak into the roof through the shingles. And here's a list of calls taken last week to today by local roofing companies. Some of these calls are due to those ice dams. Another concern as our snow melts is overworking your home sump pump. Plumbing experts say these specific season can be tough on them since we're experiencing a very inconsistent winter weather season.
We didn't have a very hard winter until that snap, so the frost doesn't get in the ground. If the frost doesn't get deep into the ground, they just kind of run. And so the snow's melting right now, the little bit of frost is melting out, it's coming down. Your sump pump and drainage system is responsible for evacuating all that. So right now it is worse right now than if we got a couple inches of rain in the middle of, March.
And plumbing experts say the best thing you can do is make sure your sump pump is running, open it up and make sure it's removing water. If it's not, pour a couple of buckets of water through it to get it to run. Also, make sure the exit pipe is free of debris and that you can see water coming out of it. Sharon?
All right, thank you, Ryan. And you can find these tips and more on our website and the KWQC News app.